And here we are with another day of a health Q&A with Toni Weel and Virtuous Unicorns with Sarah. I want to welcome whoever is listening to, it is an episode, I think 28.
Yeah, 28.
Put that in correctly. Here we are with another day of a health Q&A with Weel and Virtuous Unicorns. Here we go. I hear myself. I want to welcome whoever is listening.
There we go. I know. Every time it happens, like, was that me?
Wasn't that cute? No, it was me.
I just want to make sure everyone heard you.
Yeah, I have way too many browsers over, and for some reason, I don't like to hear myself talk. At least not back on a video. That's it.
Whenever I re-listen to us to take notes, I do it on fast speed, so we sound like little chipmunks talking.
Yeah, I should do that if I want to hear it, but I usually don't.
We have the cutest little laughs. They're like, hee hee.
We have Dave and Kathy here. Thank you for being here. This last week, I have been thinking about. It is in Dr. Morse's book. It's pretty much actually how he starts his book. And for the people who do not know his book, you got to have it. It's the Detox Miracle Source Book, and he called it an updated resource guide. Well, I think it's about 10 years old by now, but he is soon coming out with a new book. And sometimes I wonder, maybe if that book comes out, it doesn't even need a detox specialist anymore.
Yeah, I was even wondering, what is the updated? It says updated resource guide. So he just has different resources on there now?
Yeah, no, this is just what it is called. There is an, like a sticker kind of thing on the front. It's like updated resource guide. He changed his mind about a few things. In one of the groups, we had a question about aloe vera. And years ago, and it may even be in his book, he did recommend aloe vera to soothe part of the, your GI tract. And but on one of his recent videos, and I don't know if you watched them all, he was like, no, I wouldn't ingest it. It is like, and yuck, and who even wants to eat that slimy stuff? And I was like, well, I just put it in a blender in a smoothie, and who knows? I don't taste it anymore because it doesn't really have a taste. So, and when I was like, oh my gosh, so that means no aloe vera. And on the skin, okay, because with burn wounds, and I had one of my clients had a very nasty steam burn wound, and we tried everything that we knew, and it wasn't working. And until I think one of her neighbors came with a product that is an over-the-counter, not what I would suggest, but when you are in pain, and it was so bad what she had, it was you take anything and everything. And then you can do the aloe vera, which does cool, and the calendula, and there was another one that I forgot about now. You put that on afterwards, so the scarring is not as bad as it would be when you see what they do in the hospitals. It's not really working too well. But yeah, that was the aloe vera. We know it cools when you have a burn wound. And I have used aloe vera juice, because you could buy that by the gallon, and there was nothing added. It was before I knew about Dr. Morse, and now I wouldn't take it anymore. And I think I still have a few bottles that somewhere stacked. Stocked. And but yeah, it's just sitting there.
Now I wonder if the aloe vera straight from the plant, what his take would be on that versus the stuff you would get over the counter for like burns.
No, it was about the fresh aloe vera, the slimy stuff inside.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember we did that as kids. We go to my grandma's plant, pick a piece off, and rub it on our sunburns.
Yeah, it works every time. It cools it. But when you have a I don't know what degree wound it was, but it was deep, and from steam, I mean that's a nasty burn. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
anything above, I mean, a 3rd-degree burn, you shouldn't put anything on it. If anything, you should just cover it with gauze, from what I know, and then seek.
not even that, because it sticks in the wounds. You don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tough. And I have used Calendula with lanolin years ago. I think I talked about this before. This was in my travel kit when we were traveling with a Volkswagen bus. I mean, we're talking about the early 70s.
Yeah.
So that was in my what is it? My travel kit with a few other homeopathic things and herbs. And we were stopped in Europe. You still had all the borders, and you were stopped everywhere. They always thought it was drugs. But I have on that trip, it happened that my husband then he got a bad wound on his arm, and calendula, I mean, it saved the day. And I've seen it with motorcycle accidents and a lot of gravel in the skin and tiny stuff that you can't even get out. Calendula on it, and it just pulls it out. It's amazing. It doesn't even leave a scar.
That stuff is
So
wonderful.
yeah, I'm a big fan of that. But nowadays, back then, it was a very pure formula. And if you see that same brand right now, there's so much shit at it. It's like, that's too bad.
Yep. They try to market and take over everything.
Yeah, I did find a pure calendula, and together with another one that is being used for burn woods, and I forgot that herb. But that is something that, yeah, you should have at home. Like, there are a few of these things that I would say have them, like the GI Renew, if you have the constipation, something that you can then, oh yeah, I don't need to order it and wait 2 weeks before I get it. Because if you have constipation, you have it now. And like there's another one, the Spasm Calm from Dr. Morse is one that we should have at home. The GI Broom. There are probably a few more, and I think I made a list and I posted that one time on Freaksense, the Freaksense website. It's like, have these things at home. So when something happened, you don't have to go out shopping or ordering. And nowadays you order online, and sometimes you can get it in a few days. But if you have to order, specific stuff, it can take a week or 2 weeks. So I should work on that list again, and have it published.
I'm gonna look it up while you're talking and see if it's still on there. Well,
I don't know if I put it out as a post there, or if I put it in the blog, in the help blog.
Okay.
If it's in the help blog, it's easy to find, but I'm not sure if I did that.
Okay.
But I probably have it somewhere. So when we get to the point that you are doing the talking, I will check my computer. Because if I start to do multitasking, I start rambling. That happens without multitasking too, but heck.
I know. I try to be like a complete multitasker all the time. And even like that's why I do end up actually going back and listening to our videos too, because I do try to take notes of what we're talking about, why we're talking. But then I want to be so present in the conversation that then I don't take the notes. Plus, I'm also trying to read the chat as well too. So yeah.
Yeah, we
Yep,
think
you
we
do
can
have
do
it.
it all.
I did find it though. It's your emergency and first aid kit. So
You actually found it?
I did. I'll
Oh my
send you the
gosh.
link. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yep. I'll send you the link.
Okay. And what was it called?
Emergency and first aid kit.
Okay. Well, I have to see if I have it in a PDF on my computer.
All right. I sent it to you just now. So you check that over, make sure that's the one you want to look at, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that would be good.
How's everyone?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, how's everyone in the chat? Would anyone like to call in today?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to put the link up.
The invitation's always out there.
Yeah, it's just us. And I think, there are people who have way more interesting stuff to share than we do.
The other thing that when we were talking I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but between the Berkey filter and the Alexa Pure, The Berkey that I have, which is called the Travel, it does take 2 of their black carbon filters, I believe is what they are, on the top, and you can put 2 fluoride filters in the bottom. I think it's like maybe 2.5 gallons or something like that is what it does filter through. My mom has the larger one, which is like you get the 4 up top and the 4 down below. But I did look it up, and the Alexa Pure will fit the Berkey as well.
Interesting, because
yeah.
with Alexa Pure, it is all in one filter. They don't have separate filters for the fluoride.
So they do have different ones. So it's their metal one that's like I guess a cylinder shape, and you can put the carbon filters on the top. They screw right into it, and that's the same exact setup as the Berkey too. And I was reading all the comments. I even saw a YouTube video too where they were using them as interchangeable. So I'm going to try. I'm not ready for new filters yet, but I am going to order it when I am ready. I think we still have a lot of time actually on there. So it'll be a while before I actually order the filters to replace mine, because I do want to finish these filters out.
Yeah, it's when I bought it, that was right when they came out with it. So I don't know if they have added different filters. To me, it wouldn't make sense. I have 4 filters in there. I can have 1, 2, 3, or 4 by choice. 4 just filters faster. The water goes faster through it. And and they are, 1 filter is just for the chloride and everything else, and the fluoride. So that is what I meant. It's not separate.
Mm-hmm.
I see Katie asking, does the sun really make our skin age? No, the sun does not. The sun gives life. It's not the sun that ages the skin. It is the diet, dehydration, that ages the skin, not the sun. And, but if I live in a retirement community. So people are 55 and over and up to way in the 90s. And I do see people, one of my friends here, she passed away 10 years ago. She was at the pool every day, and I saw her skin getting more and more wrinkly. Now you can wonder, is that the chlorinated water that she was constantly in every day? Or was it the amount of sun? Because we do see a lot with people that are these, well, you could almost call them fanatic sunbathers and want to be really dark skinned, that their skin ages faster. But how much sense does it make to have your body kind of cooked in the sun? I mean, the sun gives life, but not if you are in there, you go into the extreme, you are in the sun hours and hours at a time, and you dehydrate. And I think it is the dehydration that makes the difference. But yeah, can you ask a person who takes 4 or 5 hours in the sun every day, like, okay, how much do you drink? We don't know.
And they're just going to say like, oh, I drink iced tea, I drink lemonade, I drink my water. But, as we all know, none of that is actually truly hydrating. Or how much fruit juice are they taking in? How much fruit are they taking in? And at the same time, if you're still eating cooked foods, as we learned when we spoke with your friend that one evening, cooked foods are so dehydrating to our body. It takes weeks, months, years for your body to recover from all the cooked foods that we have put in our body. Even if you are on a fully fruit/raw diet, we've just lost so much moisture, and our digestive tract really does take a lot of, it needs a lot of moisture. You got to think about it. You're trying to push all that stuff through, your intestines and whatnot. They do need moisture to go through. So to me, it's almost like you're literally tanning your hide out there when you're laying out, and then you're eating, you're drinking sodas, you're eating cooked foods and whatnot. You're literally just, it's like you're making leather on your body.
Yeah, and it's kind of more, protecting, and it's but I know of this friend, maybe she drank 16 ounces of water in a day. That was about it. And definitely no juices. So that was it. And people survive on that, you know, till a high age even, but with a lot of health issues. A lot of health issues.
Yep, for sure.
There was I was going to talk about, because I started out with the book, saying that everybody needs that book. The interesting part in Dr. Morse's book is that page 13, so it's right in the front, it talks about the 4 basic processes. And that is digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. And this is so important to learn and to know exactly how this works, because it explains everything. And I was like, okay, shall I read it? And it's like 1, 2, 3 pages. It's like, no, I shouldn't. No, it's actually 2 pages. It's not that bad. But I will type it and I will post it, because if you don't have the book, you just have to read it.
Mm-hmm.
It's do you have the book now?
Yes, I do. I have the digital format.
Oh, you got the digital. Yeah, the digital one. Oh my God, Dad, good that you remind me. I can just pick it out of that one. Because I do have it. I can just copy it there. I don't have to type it. Oh yeah, good. Well, I found it easier to have the printed one, and it's actually the book that I use to study for my my test for the level 1 and the level 2. And yeah, it's really it's one of the books that you tend to go into the the contents, what is all in there. But when it comes to it, you just have to start at the beginning. It's where it explains how the body works. And first, of course, understanding our species and what is the difference between the herbivores and the frugivores, carnivores and omnivores, and then go, how the body works and the 4 basic processes, and then it's like the body system. I mean, when you get to these first parts, it is already, you start understanding what is going on in your body. And I see, I mean, there is the Defense of Dr. Morse group. It's had more than 40,000 people. And I see the same questions coming up over and over from people who have been in the group 2-3 years even. And it's just still lacking this basic part of understanding how everything works.
Yep. It's very true. I've always wanted to make a little video that kind of shows this is what happens when you eat this, and it goes in and it does that, and and stuff like that. But I'm not creative in that way. So
yeah, but you come to, I'm kind of like, okay, why is it doing this? I eat something wrong and then I have more pain in my joints. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Why? And in 2 hours, I don't even need to wait until the next day. It happens in a few hours. It's like, there's a chemistry going on, but your body is telling you, don't eat that, it doesn't work for you, but okay. But I think once you get to the point when you understand the basics, understand the basics. If I use, with some people I use understand, they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? Okay, understand.
I do it all the time as well.
Yeah, sometimes I'm really good at using the understand, which I absolutely agree with Charlie when he explains the whys of that. And it's, yes, of course, and you see more in a language that has actually a different meaning that keeps us where we are. So it's like, yeah, true, we have to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so again, the basics, we need to know the basics. That you need to know, how does the digestion work? Where do we lack in absorption? And that is a big thing, because Dr. Morse talked about it in one of his latest videos about Years ago, it was always about the liver. Everything is about the liver. Now, we also know where that comes from because the guy wrote books about it. Everything was about the liver. Never talked about the kidneys, never talked about the adrenals, well, slightly, a little, but definitely did not talk about the lymph system. Well, he's catching up to Dr. Morse, so more and more books come out. Oh my gosh, I do have to say this. This is just too funny. And in the meantime, I have to see if I can find that email. Because there's now a book coming out, and that is about the different brains that we have.
Huh?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't really say anything because I've never read anything about that, but
well,
okay.
I haven't ordered that book, and it's like, should I? Because just to know what yeah, how much common sense is actually in there, because it's like, I don't know. It is, oh yeah, here I have it. What it means to have a static brain, an Aloe brain, a viral brain, an emotional brain, inflamed cranial nerves, an addicted brain, an acid brain, and a burnt out deficient brain, and what you can do about it. Of course, there's now a whole book with the true causes of over 100 brain and nervous system related symptoms, diseases, and disorders. In-depth insight into the unknown reasons for the epidemic of mental, emotional, and neurological suffering, from everyday struggles with focus, concentration, mood to life-altering diagnoses such as ALS, Parkinson's, and long-haul COVID. Of course, a whole book about it. And what do we need? We don't need that book at all. It's called Brain Saver. If you want to read it, be my guest.
To me, as soon as you said that, it made me think of that blood, like whatever your blood type is what your diet should be.
It is it sounds like it is the opposite way of the allopathic industry, they make everything complicated. So you're not going to think for yourself anymore, and this is just a variation of it, and it looks like, okay, this is in the alternative field, and it is just confusing. And I think, and this is what I actually learned from Dr. Morse, it's like, and I adapted that so easily. It's like, keep it simple.
Yep, keep it simple, stupid. That's what they always say.
Yeah, I mean, do we need to know about 100 more brain and nervous system related symptoms, diseases, and disorders, when we know that there is only one way to fix it, and we don't need to read all that? And of course, it is a New York Times bestseller. Again. I cannot say too much because I don't want to get into a fight with this person.
No.
Which, and I did follow him. I mean, I thought it was the key, but actually, and I was very strict, and it wasn't the key. I was getting very sick with the high fat and the cooked food, and I had already, all the animal derived products were already out the door, and I wasn't all raw. I was at first, cooked, but it is cooked. It's the wrong combination. It's a ton of potatoes, and yeah. I think that more than half of the people I've been talking to came from that, and having no success. And I'm happy for all the people who do have success, but it seems they all stop after a while and then look further, like what I did. So I'm very happy with that I found Dr. Morse. But anyway,
this person to get us there.
Yeah, this person has a brain shot therapy. Well, we do too. Eat the right food.
I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were like, well, what do you think about this fiber pill? It's supposed to go in and help do all that stuff and everything. And I just told them, I said, all the conversations and the talks and everything that we've had, and that we do know that, in my opinion, if you're not going to do what we've already talked about that you need to do, which is, clean up your diet, eat your fruit, stay away from, all the really bad stuff and just mainly go raw, then all you're really doing is just wasting your money. So if you're not going to do what we're talking about doing, then I mean, you might as well just, completely go and just do whatever it is you're going to do, but don't buy anything to try to suffer or supplement it or take vitamins or anything, because they're just not going to help, period. You literally are just wasting your money. I've told you what I believe you should be doing and what we should be doing. And in my opinion, I don't think you should be out there just buying these magic pills and stuff like that. I've already told you the magic path that you need to be going on. And I don't think you should be spending your money on the other stuff, basically.
It is an absolute waste. And we've talked about this before, how much supplements I was using, and every new thing I was, okay, this could work, like the Gundry, Dr. Gundry, and lectins. And you can eat everything you want if you use my anti-lectin pills. Of course not. Of course it didn't work. Of course, no, there were no changes. If I forgot or I was out of money and I couldn't afford this stuff anymore, he was easily spending $500 a month. And I've used so many things. I've used the ASEA drink. I was in that company, and I've tried and used everything, anything and everything, and nothing was helping me. Not with the brain fog, not with my psoriasis, not with the arthritis, nothing. And it's like, you get to, and I got very depressed and not understanding where it was coming from. And I so hope that everybody listens to every video that Dr. Morse brings out, because every time I listen to it, I hear something. It was like, oh my gosh, I had not made that link before.
Me too.
So they are not that long. They are, sometimes less than an hour, sometimes a little more. And he comes out, well, he had quite a few in a row this week. I am posting them in my groups, Fun with Detox. I post them in Fans of Dr. Morse. I post them, there's a Telegram group I have, Fans of Dr. Morse. I post them there. And go to drmorse.tv, drmorse.tv, and that is where the more controversial videos are, because they keep deleting his videos from YouTube. And go to his YouTube channel. I mean, you learn so much about what to do and what not to do. And even if he talks about the questions that other people have, you learn something, because he, again, is explaining something that you may have experienced, or a family member or a friend, and you can help people and direct them to his channel, or to me. That's okay too. But yeah, I would love if everybody just follows all his videos. It's so worth your time.
Yes, it is. He is a wealth of knowledge, for sure.
Yeah, he's quite amazing, and I love him for what he is doing it. Okay, freeze-dried fruits. First thing, well, we all know that. First thing is always the fresh fruit, organic, fresh. Second one is non-organic, fresh. Then the next one, yeah, would it be frozen fruits, or would it be dry fruits, or the freeze-dried fruits? People say with the freeze-dried, you lose the enzymes. Could be. I don't see freeze-dried as an option to replace fresh fruit. Of course not. But in case of emergencies, I would love to have quite a few pounds of everything freeze-dried. I have been considering buying a freeze dryer, and these things, they already went up from $2,000 to $3,000, so the prices are going up. And I'm actually still considering it. If you have like, what is it? The berries are really cheap right now. And buying freeze-dried fruit is so expensive. But you have, I think, three different sizes, the small, medium, and the large freeze dryers. There's only one company who has them for residential use. And if for two people, then the small one would be sufficient. But that is how they say it. But for us, being, living on mostly fruit, I would, if I order one, it would be the big one. But it would be on for, day in, day out. It would be on 24/7 the whole year to get enough of it. I have bought freeze dried, and I would suggest at any time when you do that, make sure you have organic, so at least have some taste, because I have gotten, Publix has it now, even little bags, with 3 or 4 ounces for $8. I mean, it's a handful of freeze-dried fruit. And but if you have the good stuff, it absolutely can be really delicious. There's a couple, they are on the farmers market in Lakeland here in Florida. And she bought quite a few of these large freeze dryers, and they're selling it there. But it is expensive because, there's very little left, and it has no weight. And yeah, you can eat it as is with water, or you have to soak it in water. And then it plumps up to like it was fresh. But I would think there is some loss in it. But I definitely see that as a very good option for when there's nothing else. And the same goes for dried fruit. I mean, we used, on trips, we had dried food as a snack. If your car would break down and you have to wait, you wouldn't have anything. Well, I can easily do nowadays without any food, just having, liquids. But it is something that you can keep in the car, the dried fruit, or even the freeze dried. What actually puzzled me is that I did see freeze dried fruit, and it was only good for a year in the package. And I was thinking it should be good at least a lot longer. Now, there is freeze-dried meals. You can have whole cooked meals, even meat, everything. You can freeze-dry anything and everything, but, we stick to to this kind of stuff. There is another thing that you can do, and that is made fruit ladders. And LATHER. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. And that means that you, say you make a smoothie, and a thick smoothie, and you put it in your dehydrator in up to 108 degrees Celsius. So it's still raw. It will dry out, but it's amazing, and it stays good for long. It's amazing food. And I've kept it in the fridge for 2 years, and it was still the same as the day I did it. So
that's really
okay, cool. Yeah, it stays good in as long as it's sealed in a jar. Yeah, these were things that were in a vacuum sealed in a package, and that's at 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not buy any freeze-dried fruit just because it's so expensive, and the amount that we would need, I mean, granted, like in the very beginning, like we were eating so much fruit, but now, I mean, we go through, I don't know, 12 oranges each a day, and maybe a quarter of a watermelon, sometimes a half of a cantaloupe. So it's not like a whole bunch of food, but if you're trying to get it in freeze-dried form, then yeah, it can seem like you are buying a whole bunch of it, but we just don't purchase freeze-dried.
Yeah, but you have times that the fruit is half the price. You get 2 for 1, and that's the case with the berries now, the strawberries.
Yeah.
The mangoes, I thought this year are extremely expensive. I was at a roadside thing. They said it was organic, and the good ones were sold for $4 each. The ones with the black spots, they were $3, and the tiny ones with all black spots, they were $2.50. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That does seem quite expensive.
This is expensive. But see, you know now exactly what you eat per person, and that would then be the same if you have it freeze dried. But for freeze dried, I don't see it as an well. Actually, you can see it as something that can get you through the winter when you are in an area where you don't have access to good fruits. But you know what? I live in Florida. There's not even great fruit in the winter in Florida. Well, you would think we're in the subtropics. This is crazy. But it's not being grown here. There's here and there is a small farm, and they don't have that much. And yeah, we go by seasons like any other grower or any other area in the country.
Yep.
And it's trucked in. I mean, we get the kiwis not from the US, the pineapples not from the US, not in Florida. It could grow here, but it isn't, not commercial. So I was thinking, like, it doesn't matter if you are in Canada or here in Florida, we have the same access to the fruits. It's just less. It's still oranges and bananas. Bananas are always there. Apples are always there. Kiwis not so much. The papayas and the mangoes. That's really the cherries, berries. That's really seasoned. So it's but yeah, I mean, freeze dried, everything works. It's just not as a as a regular meal. It's like when nothing else is there.
Yep. I know we've been thinking, I even tried freezing orange juice and we tested it, and I mean, it's okay. It's definitely not fresh, but if we had to in a pinch or whatever, we were able to get our oranges up into October last year, the place that we go to get them from. And then after that, the oranges they were giving us or were able to get themselves, they didn't taste very good at all, especially making them into orange juice. So we're probably, like mid-October through, I'd say maybe April. We have no access to oranges or whatever, but we definitely have an abundance of apples. So we'll be doing a lot of apples and apple juice through the winter this year.
Yeah, have you ever frozen your apple juice?
Nope, I've not tried freezing the apple juice either, but I will once we start doing that.
I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I
We
saw
have-
the prices that have been going up for apples. They have they call it juicing apples, and it was always like $8. Now it's $10.
Oh, geez.
So things keep going up.
Yeah, we gotta, like the same with the gas prices. They're starting to come down, but I was like, come on, people, we can't just because it's down, like 30, 40 cents. That's not the new normal. We got to keep pushing this down and not accepting it as this new normal. This better come down below $2 again and just keep pressing it and whatever but just don't settle. The moment you settle, the moment you agree. So we cannot settle.
That's true too.
That could be the same as our food too. The moment you start settling and say like, well, this is all they have and stuff like that, just keep asking for stuff and keep demanding that your stores do get things like that. If you don't have access to grow your own or farmers markets or stuff like that, just start asking your stores every single week and see what they can get in for you. Yep. We did miss a question from Katie where she was talking about drinking out of plastic bottles and even the aluminum ones for water, like Yetis and whatnot.
Yeah, it's I had the glass bottle. Sometimes I buy that Aquapana Tuscany natural spring water, 100% recycled bottle, and the bottle should be good. And I'm still not crazy about it. We had all these metal water bottles. They look so cute sometimes. That was my reason to want to have 16-ounce bottles. But I got to a point now. I bought milk bottles, glass. So my smoothie goes in glass, and my husband is on the road 5 days a week, and he takes about 6 liters of smoothies with him. All goes in glass bottles. And I'm sure they can find something negative about the glass too, but I think it's still the safest that we are dealing with. Because I made a mistake, like, oh yeah, I had the lemon water in one of my metal bottles, and that we shouldn't do that. And the same is with the plastic. You tend to reuse it, and I'm like, no, I go for glass.
Yep. We use mason jars, and I even have what is it, like the half-gallon mason jars and whatnot. I put all of our orange juice in those, and then I found this place. It is silicone, but they make boots for your mason jars. And since we carry ours around a lot of places, that's the reason why I went for it. But I've had them for years, and I will have them for years to come. So it's not like a one-time use in the first place, but you can buy little boots for your mason jar. And I even have, I think it was like a coffee, like a cold brew coffee making kit that would have came on my wide mouth mason jar. And the lid on it's like a really nice flip lid. And I just use that. That's what I carry around a lot with me for all of my juices. My water, I do have, I cannot remember. I think it's called like Life Factory. It's a glass bottle that also has a silicone thing wrapped around it. But man, I've had that probably, I don't know, probably almost 10, 12 years now. And I still use that all the time. But I do have a Hydro Flask. And I've had that for probably since, I don't know, maybe 2019 or something like that. So I keep my stuff a very long time in the first place. But, I mean, use what you have, use what you have access to, even if you are drinking out of a plastic bottle. I mean, I've never been a fan of reusing those even before I knew everything I knew either. But you just got to do with what you have access to, really. And just always try to do your best.
That's all we can do. I just looked that up, that Life Factory. Those are the kinds of that you put a glass in, or? Okay.
Well, mine already came with a glass in it. I got them at it used to be called Wild Oats before it was Whole Foods in our area. And then Whole Foods carried them for a while. I think they still might actually, but the kind we got, they're obviously the much older ones.
Yeah, the largest one is a 20-ounce beverage glass with silicone sleeve.
Yep. My husband carries, he uses like a plastic Camelback, which he reuses all the time, but he drinks a lot of water. I think his is I think he carries a half a gallon with him. But we were actually looking at some, bigger ones. But we also don't like cold water. So even though I have a Hydro Flask, I still put like room temperature water in there. Again, I was all on that whole, I liked how they looked as well too. And so, yep, it's amazing what we kind of grow and learn as we go, but I'm not going to throw anything away that I already have either. So from what I know, I'm just going to keep using it at this point, but majority of the time I do use my glass, and I use mason jars for a lot of things too.
Yeah, I'm now at the glass bottle. It works, and yeah. And
we even got with our Berkeys, they sent us glass bottles too. We got like 6 different glass bottles, and they were really nice, but guess who dropped them?
Yeah, for me, it was like, I like the size, the 1 liter. And if I put it in a 1 liter bottle, I know what I drink it. If I would have put it in a half a liter, then that's all I drink.
Exactly.
I know my limits, then I don't want to get up, and I'm just like, okay, but now I have these bottles with my lemon water, and it's like, okay, I'll get through the day with that.
Oh yeah. And just keep your water coming in and keep your fruit coming in. We were talking, so I usually get kind of like drier skin through the winter, which I think a lot of people do. And I know that some people refer to it as winter eczema. Like I'll get some of it on my pinky finger, kind of like it doesn't spread throughout my whole hand, but I always just contributed to, I'm always out in the cold, and I usually don't wear gloves a lot of the times and whatnot. But so I'll get that on my hand. So ever since I've been doing the juice and whatnot, I haven't been getting that. So along this process, I've learned from Toni and Dr. Morse that the cold weather is very alkalizing. And so it is bringing stuff to the surface of my hand, and it's like basically coming out. But since I've been doing the juice, since I've been on the fruit, I did get it again last year, but it was barely even noticeable. And so now I'm curious to see how it's going to look this year too. So.
Yeah, that is very interesting. That was one of the reasons too that more people have colds and flus in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Close to it's usually January, February. Wasn't that the flu season?
Yeah, that's what they always said. I would always be surprised too, because we go to the dentist before and they'd be like, so did you guys make it through the winter, or did you get the flus and stuff? And I'm like, no, like people get that every year. Like, really? Like, I don't know. Even growing up, we were never sick growing up ever. And we have this one family that lives down the road from us currently right now. And the kids are always barefoot. They always look all ratted and dirty and everything. And those kids are never sick. And they're always just exposed to everything, I guess.
I mean, as kids, I was always bare feet. I hated shoes. I really did. I just did not want to wear shoes.
Yeah. So, we grew up around people that would like more professionally kind of dressage ride horses and stuff, but we'd always be barefoot, look like we just, like we literally lived in the trees and came out and jumped on the horses and stuff. And then we'd ride by them, sometimes two of us on a horse, and we were just little kids. And they would always like make fun of us and stuff. But I mean, we had a blast and we had a great childhood. So we're wild children, feral children, I guess.
Well, that is how it should be. I mean, kids nowadays spend way too much time indoors.
Yeah, we were picking mulberries about a month ago or whatever, and I was giving them to one of the boys that live up the road. He's older, he's a teenager, and I was like, eat this. And he's like, it's poison or something. And I'm like, no. So I was eating them. And then he had one and he's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I was like, you probably don't eat much fruit, so you're probably not enjoying them as much as I am. But even as kids, we'd just be out all day and we'd all just stop by the tree and just eat and, see whatever we could find, basically. So
yeah, same here. On my way back from school in the fall, there were the berries were then ripening, and so along the path that we walked, and it was probably 2 miles walking to school on a sand on a dirt road, and with all these berries there, blackberries and what's the other ones? I always forget the name of that one.
Like berries and cherries and raspberries.
Raspberries, the raspberries. They were growing in the wild.
That's awesome.
If I now see something in the wild, I always wonder if it was sprayed or not.
Yes, I do think that as well. Yeah. Jessica has a question about a grounding mat.
Yeah. I was about grounding. I was like, oh my God, I need to have one of these things. I don't have the time or sitting outside, and I wanted to have a grounding mat. And then I started looking things up, and I saw explained why not using a grounding mat. So and I don't know the details anymore, but it was enough for me to not buy it, because you can buy them for to sleep on, to sit on if you're right at the computer. There's a variety of everything, and they were on my wish list for a long time. And I think Dr. Morse actually talked about that. And so no, I never did. Yeah, Joseph, grounding mat via going 17 feet in the ground. Yeah, look up negative information about a grounding mat. I'm sure that is where you find it, because I always do. You read all the positive things, but if I see 90 positive reviews and I see 90 positive or maybe 99 positive and 1 negative, I want to know more about what that negative experience. What happened. So definitely look it up. It's it's the bare feet going that is most beautiful. right here where I live, that I have a small section, and I put in. I had a bench made there with a pergola. What do they call these things that you can put over
Pergola.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, and then have plants over it. So I have a plant growing over it. That's my only area where I can sit with my feet on the in the grass. Otherwise, it's all concrete.
Live in a concrete jungle. Yep. I don't walk barefoot in the pasture or anything like that, but I was reading another article about the width that a horse their frequency, I guess, that they put out. I think it was something like 16 feet or something like that. So they were saying, imagine within a herd of horses how big that is as well too. But I think it's so true, because I think our circumference is only like 6 feet that our vibration level can go out from us or whatever. But whenever I'm at the barn or I'm out in the pasture with him or whatever, if I'm working or whatever I'm doing, it's just like I'm so present in that moment. And I swear, like, time literally slows down while you're there. It's just, being outside is just such, I don't know, it's just amazing. You can find a nice little area.
It's we don't do it enough, it is part of our healing. I came this morning about the 20 ways of being healthy, and something like that was mentioned there too. I need to copy that one and send it out, because it was, and one said it should have been 21, because connection with God would be number 21, and that was us understanding why everything is there, how it is there, and how it benefits us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, well, and it's good that I see this from who was it? Oh yeah, Diane. I love my grounding mats. No more back pain for me. Now that's good. I mean, happy to hear that. But I'm always wondered then, okay, why did you have a back pain? I mean, learning from Dr. Morse is like, we don't treat a symptom. Back pain is a symptom. It's a symptom of something. It's either, your spine, and it can be your kidneys, and 9 out of 10 times it is the kidneys. It's a weak area. So that then makes me wonder, okay, now for you, it got better by grounding. Like, how did this work? Did it then heal your kidneys so you don't have that back pain anymore? There's always a lot of questions, but it's how healing is grounding. Good question.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's very healing if it's part of your process. But if you're, still eating, the meat, dairy, eggs, and doing other things, I don't know how grounded you can really be when you're full of carnal matter. But I think it could be all part of a process. I mean, as long as you're on that path, it can be beneficial. I do want to say something that we touched on a couple of weeks ago too, about, trusting the animals and stuff like that. We were talking about spiders and snakes and stuff like that. So we were over there mowing grass, and I was doing the weed eating, and I saw a snake. And I didn't get scared like I usually do. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. He was just right in front of me. And usually I would have probably killed myself with the weed eater, running away somehow. Like, it's usually quite dramatic. And I didn't get scared. And he saw me, I saw him. He went and he started running away, basically, or slithering away. And then he went right in the hole. And then I was like, okay, well, stay in the hole. I'm going to finish working around you. And I did. Whereas, like, in the past, like, even if there was a dead snake, like, I couldn't even go in the vicinity of it. Like, I was that afraid. Now, granted, I don't want another snake like popping out of me again and testing my theory at this point, but it was. And then today too, I was coming through the gate, and there was a little black spider there with white dots on him. And I was just like, hey, spider. And like, just kind of reached my hand down right where he was, opened the gate, locked the gate, and left. And then it was, so I don't know. I mean, I don't want to keep trying it, and I don't want to be surprised for sure, but I've really been trying hard to trust the process.
Yeah, but I think it is important that these things come on your path, and then that you can see they are not a threat to you.
Right.
and something shifted in you, maybe the talk that you had about it, and you look at it differently now.
I still don't want to be surprised though, so if any snakes are listening, just kind of, keep your distance for now.
Okay, I have these, it was actually 19 reasons, and it comes from the natural hygiene. And there were 19 factors for optimal health. I'll go by it really fast. Pure air, pure water, cleanliness, both internal, external, sleep, temperature, maintenance, diet, pure, wholesome foods to which we are biologically adapted, exercise and activity, sunshine upon our bodies, rest and relaxation, play and recreation, emotional poise, security of life and its means, pleasant environment, creative, useful work, self-mastery, belonging, motivation, expression of the natural instincts, and indulgence of aesthetic senses. And sometimes I wonder, like, why can something beautiful actually make me feel so good? And so that is part, indulgence of aesthetic senses. It's beautiful for us to be pleased with. That's we call that, beautiful. The funny thing though is that in Holland, there's always a lot of talk about the weather. They're probably here too, because it's raining there so often. And then they are like, oh, the weather is bad, or it's ugly, or it's a mean. And they have all these words for it. And then I'm like, well, it's just the weather. We put a word to it, which that has the meaning for us. Somebody else could say, if it's a bad storm, oh my God, this is the most beautiful weather ever, because I love storms. And another person would absolutely hate it. Yeah. I know it doesn't mean anything. It was just funny to make me think of it.
Oh yeah, a lot of people love cloudy, days and whatnot, kind of gloomy days, and then other people love bright sunny days or whatnot. And
I love them both. Yeah,
I do too.
I love them both. The first thing that I actually missed here in Florida was the seasons. And I think there is something with seasons, because what I noticed, especially since I have been on this way of eating, is that you have spring, you have this word, spring cleaning. We want to clean in the spring. And I have not ever experienced it as much as I did in the last 2 years. In the spring, I just wanted to clean out my body inside, my mind, but my closets, my cupboards. I wanted it to clean out. And of course, over the summer, you collect all kinds of stuff and junk again. And then the fall, it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I mean, the spring is technically our new year as well too. The calendar has just been all, we've been lied to again about another thing. So that's like our new beginning. Everything is new in spring, and that's what it really is. That's our new year as well. So spring is a wonderful time for new beginnings and just starting fresh. Sure. We have another question in here about eye regeneration. Is it possible? They can't find any testimonials of people completely healing things like glaucoma, macular degeneration, retina detachment, etc.
Yeah, Dr. Morse was talking about that. I've heard him talk about cataracts as being one of the hardest things to clean out, because you really, really have to get your kidneys filtering and move out the lymph, because that is part of it. When the retina is detached, it is detached. It's like that. This has happened to my mother. She was talking to us, and within a second she was like, oh my God, I'm blind. I can't see anything anymore. She was rushed to the hospital, and they lasered it back. It has to be done within so many hours. I have been told that I was actually, that could happen to me too, and to my sister. I do have a problem with my right eye. And I had at one time, I was sitting at a computer and all of a sudden it was a big snowy thing to my right eye and everything was dark. I couldn't see out that eye anymore. I went to the eye doctor and she said, yeah, look at it. You have a retina detachment. There's nothing I can do. So I have to send you to a specialist. I was rushed to a specialist and he said, no, there's nothing going on. Nothing is wrong. You're fine. You will get your sight back. I did. But now I am for 75% blind in that eye. I'm not one going to the doctor, so it's like I have to do it with diet because that is my only way. I give myself another year. If it is cataracts, I mean, yes, I can have surgery. If it is glaucoma, because I have been a diabetic, and so if it's related to that, at this point, I don't know. The first thing that I noticed when I was going on all run, mostly fruit, was that my night blindness was gone, because I couldn't see different colors at night. Like everything was like one gray blur, and that went away. But I do have to say, in the last year, I had a difficult year, and I did not stick to my diet as well as I could have, or definitely should have. And that did affect my eye in a negative way. So I'm still like, okay, what I'm, on all fruit, I'm positive it will get better. When you go on rawfigs.com and you can type all these things in, and you have these Dr. Morse videos, and he had a video, one of his recent videos was about exactly this. And the same is with macular degeneration. Retina detachment, all I know is like you have so many hours to get it back attached, because after that it just dies. It's like, if you take your skin off, it dies. So it's and a complete healing. Yes, I do have people that did heal completely from I didn't have them with macular degeneration, but with cataracts. But please do look up what Dr. Morse is talking about, and use the appropriate formulas, which is there is an eye formula that works amazing. So and I'm not the best in using the formulas as well as I should, because my eyes would probably be a lot better already. But there is a formula that has everything that you need for any of these things. But you do have to work on the on getting your lymph moving, because that is what stops everything. Your kidneys are not filtering, the waste is not getting out of your body. So these are all the symptoms that we can get.
Absolutely. That's what I have seen Dr. Morse talk about as well, is that, it's just stagnated lymph in your eyes. Mm-hmm.
It's we always come back to the same thing with I always thought we have about 7,000 diseases. I just read somewhere that it's over 10,000. And I hear, symptoms that we never heard of before. And then you start looking it up and you see more made up words. It's like it just never stops, but the solution is always the same. It's like, you have your hair falls out, or you have cancer. It's like two completely different things. Like cancer, oh my God, that's the end of the world. Your hair fall out, well, you still live. Yeah, but you still have to do the same to fix it in your body, to heal your body. And keep it simple. It's like I have a client now who ended up in the hospital, and there's nothing that I of Dr. Morse at this point can do, because with surgeries and things that have happened, it's already so messed up. And lately it seems that everybody I talk to, they don't have a gallbladder anymore, and I'm like, what's going on? When my gallbladder was taken out in the 70s, it was a rarity. It was absolutely, that happened to old people. It happened to my grandmother when she was, in the 70s. And but it happened to me when I was 19 years old. Of course it was diet. Of course it had to do with lifestyle. But now it's like, I even asked, did you have gallstones? Did you, what happened? Oh, nothing. I just felt uncomfortable, and they did a test, and they took out the gallbladder, and I'm like, oh my God. So we're not getting healthier. So if you have any symptoms, it's like, work on it. Learn what it is about. Get Dr. Morse's book, the Detox Miracle Source book. I mean, read it. It saves your life. This way of living absolutely saves your life and your sanity.
Yeah, absolutely. Joseph has a question too about what fruit is best to build muscle. And
yeah, that is such a misconception, as that we need something external to build muscles. Actually, Dr. Morse was touching on that too. You mentioned, okay, what's the best fruit for those of us who want to build some muscle? I'm thinning out a lot since changing my diet, but I don't want to end up looking like a stick. Well, you may for a while look like a stick until your body feels like, okay, you detox, you're clean, now we start the building up. What you can do is, and this is what Dr. Morse often says, it's alfalfa. Add alfalfa to your smoothies. It is said that, yeah, you build on greens. Well, actually, Dr. Morse mentioned that, no, not really. You build just as well on fruits. Do you need to add a little bit more, fats to your diet? Maybe, maybe for some people, it can be a few nuts here and there. It can be some coconut meat, or it can even be an avocado. Although lately I hear more and more people that after they've been on fruit, they cannot handle the avocado anymore. And actually, this is a thank God thing. I love guacamole. I love avocados. I had one 4 or 5 days ago. I did not like it, and it gave me stomach problems. So that's the end of it. I'm over with the avocados. It just had to happen. That was a good thing.
Avocados, they hit me like a rock. They even do something to my throat. It's almost like I might be a slight allergic to them too, but not every one of them though either. But yeah, it definitely upsets my stomach almost immediately eating one. The other thing I wanted to say to Joseph too as well, keep in mind we're been brainwashed to be these bodybuilding people, have all these muscles and everything. We are lean, light people. We are supposed to be nimble and quick, and you don't want to like have very much weight. We're so used to us looking so quote meaty, and we're not supposed to be meaty. It's going to take a long time for us to get used to seeing how the way we're supposed to look, because we've seen so many people with, kind of puffy faces and lots of muscle and stuff like that. And I'm not really sure exactly what your goal is, but working out in gyms and stuff like that can just bring a lot more acidity into your body, because you're like breaking your muscle down and pulling it back up. I've said it probably almost on every show, but the best kind of work is, stretching, doing some yoga, going for walks, swimming, but also do some lawn work. Go out and help somebody, help a neighbor or something. We went over and helped our neighbor. We do it occasionally. It takes us anywhere between 5 and 7 hours. We help weed eat her area, help her with her home, clean out gutters. We do all kinds of stuff like that. And my husband he's a pretty trim guy, and he never goes to the gym or anything like that. But I'll tell you what, he's strong as can be, and he can work all day long too. And he never goes to the gym. And the other 2 years ago, our son got a bicycle, and he was running next to him. He straight ran for almost a mile next to him, and he hasn't ran in years because he was in the military before. And it's just amazing what he can do. And he's not even on fully fruit. So I don't know, I get amazed at things like that, watching people do stuff like that. And then we have family members who go to the gym all the time, and then we ask them to come help us do something, and they're so winded and they're so wore out, and they just can't, they don't have the stamina, I guess. So I don't know. I find that very fascinating. So
It absolutely is. I mentioned this before, when I look at my husband, he's 5'11" and he weighs, he doesn't even weigh 130 pounds. And he in the Netherlands, he has never been considered like a stick or skinny or anything. He was just normal. And here in the US, he got a lot of women looking at him. I think he is, oh my God, how old is he? He is from 54.
mhm.
So yeah, he's not skinny at all, but here he's considered skinny.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, I was considered overweight, and here I'm considered normal. I know I'm not going to tell you my weight.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's also too the energy that we put out as well too. Like people will like always approach my mom and I and just want to talk to us and stuff. And we were sitting there one day waiting in line somewhere, and I told my mom, I said, this man's going to come over and talk to us. And she's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I just feel that he's coming any moment. And sure enough, here he came right over to talk to us. And he was from some church or whatever. And they were actually doing like some really good work where they get food and they provide people with homes and they give them cars and things like that. So he was kind of telling us all about that kind of stuff. But it was just, I don't know, the more you put out or whatever. And we were leaving a store the other day too, and some other guy just said, he goes, you guys look like you're such the happiest little group. And I'm like, everything, I don't know. Everything just changes when you get on this lifestyle, and people see it, people feel it. And so maybe we touched him in some way too. And then he took that joy or that happy or that light and took it to his family as well too. And it's just such an amazing journey. If you stop and you really step out of it and watch it, it's beautiful.
It is, and it's your frequency. It's what people. Some people will stay away; they cannot handle it, and others are drawn to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that too. Lydia, did you ever try using an eye glandular? That is something that Dr. Morse was talking about also. He actually has one that is called a Visioplex. And it does not only have some eye glandular eye tissue in it, it also has the other herbs that he has in his, let me go there and I can tell you exactly what is in there. And I have to log in because otherwise it doesn't let me go to the glandulars. And I do have that. It is, yeah, it would definitely be something that you can use. I tried to log into a site and it has these verified things. How many stairs do you see in the picture? Ugh.
Oh gosh.
There's all these crazy grainy pictures and it's like bicycles. I only see motorcycles and then, yeah. Hey, I know. You didn't let me in. That's crazy. Hi, Toni. What happened?
While you're looking that up real quick, Katie has on here, all of my friends who have done keto diet all had their gallbladders removed.
Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that something?
That's sad. I feel very sorry for them. Okay, maybe they can regrow it if they get on all fruit and we make it to the 1,000 years.
Yeah, no. That is the same with me. I never had an issue with fat. Some people, when they eat fat after the gallbladder was removed, they got a stomach ache. I never had that. Mm-hmm. So who knows, maybe it already regrew. I don't know. I'm not going to have it tested either.
Yeah, I thought it was you and I that talked about that. Like, did it regrow back, or how do we even know if it regrows back? Because we're never even going to have it tested to find out the first place.
Well, here's the thing. You just are confident that it did grow back, that you have a gallbladder. Who knows what happens?
Exactly.
Who knows what happens? Lydia, I cannot find it for some reason. They are changing a lot of stuff today on the website. What is it? It is, yeah, it's the 14th. And after 2 o'clock today, they changed things around for all the counselors. So I cannot get into that part of the site, but I do have one that is called Physioplex. Let me see if I can find a picture of that. And I do have extra. So if you would like to order that, I can get it to you, but just connect with me. Physioplex formula. Let me see. I see it somewhere else. Yeah, here it is. It has lutein. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure. That one.
Progressive. It's from Progressive Professionals. I think that is the one. And yeah, it has a lot of other stuff in it. Raw eye concentrate. Yuck. Eye bright. Eye bright is a good one. There's a ginkgo, quercetin. There's all other stuff in it too. But I think it was the one from, there's another one, Professional Formulas. Let me check this one. It's all called also, Professional Laboratories, also Physioplex. And let me see what is in there. It's not cheap. It's like $60.50. Yeah, it has all these things, the vitamin A's and C's and E's and B's and folate and all that stuff in it too. But it's like, yeah. But that's the only one that I found that actually does have raw eye concentrate in it. So it's called Physioplex. Yeah, it's the only one who has it is actually Progressive Laboratories.
Okay. Is that through Dr. Morse or?
Yeah,
you and housework done?
I told him I was going to have a podcast. So I guess, guys, this is the end of it. This is my guy working here because we
okay.
in the house. It is okay.
Oh, good. No, is that from Dr. Morris then, or you get it through you?
They can get it through me, and Dr. Morse only sells the glandulars through the counselors.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Lydia, reach out to Toni.
Yeah, and Joseph, if you want to talk with me and go over things, then please do connect with me.
Absolutely. And Joseph, we've all been lied to. So I mean, what we didn't know, and God does know that. So just keep your path and keep your faith and be virtuous, be kind, and you never know, it might grow right on back for you. Yeah, it's interesting how everything works and we have been lied to, but we work on it. We're all getting better, happier, and yeah. I want to thank everybody for being here, being part of this podcast. Always love it, and love you, Sarah, for being my what is a good word for it? Confidant.
No, not necessarily a confidant, because then we wouldn't have it on a podcast.
That's true. I'm sorry.
But you've been definitely part of my team.
This language they've taught us, I'm not very good with it.
Yeah, we're still finding the right words for the things for what they are.
Exactly.
Okay, guys.
Thank you all so much. Love you too, Toni, and everyone in the chat.
Thank you. Till the next time.
Bye-bye.